We are here.
1 second. And we're good to go.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are here to discuss the Health and Safety Service Loan Fund, RP selection. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at this time, and now we're going to take attendance. First, we're going to call Sarah Baker.
Here.
Okay, Vanessa.
Here.
Okay, and then Director Coyle. Director?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay, Mr. Leonard Bell.
Here.
Okay, Ms. Christine Ingracia.
Present.
Right, okay. And then Vanessa, are you going to take notes for us today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So we have two individuals from BPS as well, which is where this RFP is housed. Are there any conflict of interest forms that we have?
I actually haven't filled mine out yet, but I do not have a conflict of interest with either of these proposals. I can send it over to you after this.
I'll
Okay.
do the same. Yeah, I don't have a conflict with either of the vendors.
Right.
I likewise, I'll send it, but I don't have a conflict of interest.
Okay. Director, how about you?
Same thing.
Okay, and Vanessa as well?
Same as well.
Okay, and I do not have conflict with either one of these potential vendors either. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and proceed through our agenda. I believe we have two proposals that were submitted. Sarah, I'll go ahead and turn over to you to kind of walk us through both of the proposals that were submitted.
Sure. Did you want to do the approval of the minutes from last week's meeting first?
Might not be a bad idea. How about we approve the meeting minutes from last week?
I'll second.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes. Sarah seconds. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Meeting notes for the previous meeting has been approved. I believe at this time, we're going to turn it over to Sarah Baker to walk us through the two proposals.
Great. So we got two proposals for our RFP on the revolving loan fund. One was from an entity known as Atlas, and the other was from Justine Peters. I'll go first through a summary of the Atlas proposal and then through a summary of Justine Peters. Feel free to interrupt me with questions throughout. In summary, Atlas is also known as CCP3. It's a California-based firm, and they provide software assistance to loan management. They are not a non-for-profit from what I can see, and they do have a flat fee of $175,000 annually, which exceeds the pricing for this RFP. Also, because they are not a non-for-profit, either a non-for-profit financial institution or a registered nonprofit with the state of Missouri, that would also make them ineligible for this RFP. Are there any questions about the Atlas proposal?
I have any at this point, no.
Okay, great. And then Justine Peters was the other organization to provide a proposal rather. They are a local nonprofit with a history of providing these types of loans and connecting individuals to wraparound financial services. They've counseled individually over 40,000 families on credit building strategies and originated over $7 million in low dollar loans to 10,000 individuals for short-term emergencies and credit building. They offer on-site assistance, and they are a nonprofit registered in the state of Missouri. They have a detailed plan for repayment, including financial counseling, available to individuals that they would work with as part of this program. They also provided their staff resumes included in the application for your review, and they provided more information about their login portal and how they would handle outreach to clients through that portal, including updates to applicants every 3 days on information that they're missing from their application. They would also provide financial counseling, and they have other programs that they can sort of link to this program if a person doesn't qualify for this, to try to get them on the footing where they might qualify for a different loan program and be eligible for payment through that. So any questions about the Justine Peters proposal?
Well, it appears that Justin Peterson is a better fit, for lack of a better word. I think they have appeared to be very transparent with us, providing their curriculum vitae in addition to their experience. I'll say that, and for us to provide their certificate of good standing with the state of Missouri, which is good, not required, but I think they did try to be as transparent as they could as much as possible.
Yes, and full transparency, I also mispronounced her name like 10 times throughout that. It's Justine Peterson. My apologies. In my mind, I had shortened it.
Just faster to say that way.
I know. Everyone knew what I was talking about.
I have good experience with Justine Peterson over the years in my former role in City Hall. And I did like the proposal. I like that they're local and they're a nonprofit already doing similar work. I did have a question on the pricing. They listed a non-sufficient fund fee of $25, and I wasn't sure with the loan how that was applicable. And then I also don't know if the 10% interest rate or 5% late fee makes sense if it's in line with other similar programs. I know like St. Louis Community Credit Union does similar work. So I would like to know a little bit more about that. And it does say that it looks like it's up for negotiation.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I think we can handle that in contract negotiation and also make sure that we have some comparative data that we can work through with them as well.
Also, too, since you mentioned it, I take it if they were, it'd probably be standard to charge a late fee, but I guess that late fee will be coming strictly back to the city, correct?
Well, they are the ones who would be distributing the loan. So I think it is possible that the late fee would actually come back to them. But we can make sure that that's very clear in the contract negotiations, how we move forward there. I mean, our goal obviously is going to be first to implement this program and capitalize on the public welfare benefit that it poses to the residents of the city of St. Louis. And obviously also we want to recoup the funding. So we're going to be looking into models that make that the most feasible. And since they've done so much lending to low income clients, I feel very confident that they have a good system in place for recouping funds.
Well, just a point of clarity, I do understand what you're telling me, but given that they are contracting with us to do business with us, any money received from a program that's funded, they, outside of what they feed, they cannot recoup anything, or how can I say this? Identify potential sources of revenue outside of what their fee is. I don't see how they could do that in a contract with the city where they are really just advancing funds. Now they have administrative fee that they can charge, but to identify sensitive sources of revenue through a funded program, I don't see that going through, even in a contract.
Yeah, I hear your concern, Leonard. The only money that they would be getting from the city of St. Louis would be the administrative fund or the administrative fee, and it's a percentage, not to exceed 10%, as detailed in the RFP. And I agree with you, as far as like a late fee or anything like that, that would have to be something that we negotiate out in a contract. But I understand what you're saying about how the funding couldn't be revenue generating for them.
I also think we have to be careful about it being revenue generating for us due to the Hancock Amendment. So, and I think to your point, Sarah, they've already done this work within low income communities. So I feel confident they can do it. I just want to make sure to the extent possible, we're giving people who are possibly in very precarious financial situations, the best plan to move forward in terms of payment without a very high interest rate.
Yeah. Okay. So I think with that, I would make a motion that we move forward with entering into contract negotiations with Justine Peterson. Do I have a second?
Prior to that, can I ask, I want to make sure, are we entering into the contract based on responses to some of the questions that have been raised? Especially about the insufficient fund fee. Do we get those responses, or do we enter into the contract and then discuss those at a later point?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I would like to ask that question. I would like to first give a response to that. You don't enter into a contract till they can be the successful bidder, but the actual contract has to come under your conditions and terms. And so I think as Mr. Grassi has said, we definitely don't want to be out of compliance with the Hancock Amendment, allowing anyone to get any unjust enrichment at the expense of a public benefit program. So the contract, those terms and conditions, as Ms. Baker has said, can be outlined in the actual contract. Although they're a successful bidder, does not mean at this point that we've entered into a contract with them.
Correct.
Okay.
So where we would be going from here is, my motion is to enter into contract negotiations with them. Where we would go from here is we would then work with the city councilors in office, who of course would be considering some of those Hancock Amendment considerations before getting the contract together to present to ENA.
All right. Okay.
So-
Thanks for the clarity.
What I would say on the things that we've raised in this call so far, I don't see anything that's out of the scope of contract negotiations, and I think we can handle that there, and then there will be another approval from the Board of Estimate and Apportionment. Okay, so do I have a second on the motion to enter into contract negotiations with Justine Peterson?
I will second it.
I second it.
Oh, I thought I just did. Okay.
Okay, and then we need to go ahead and call a vote. I'm always confused, Monty, when three of you are on the call. Who are the two voting members for DPS? Obviously, one is Director Coyle.
I am as well. Vanessa's taking notes.
Okay, great. So do you want to call a roll call vote, Monty?
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay. It passes that we're going to currently enter in contract negotiations with the vendor, Justine Peterson, for the Health and Safety Service Loan Fund. All right. At this time, is there any other business to discuss?
I just wanted to ask Sarah, could you make sure to keep our office apprised of the negotiations and then when this would be rolling out so we can keep the board informed as well?
Yeah, we're gonna be
I'll-
aiming for
Ms. Baker,
June.
yeah.
Oh,
Ms. Baker,
sorry.
I would also, yeah, I'm sorry. I would also like to be informed from the controller side as well.
Okay, we are going to be aiming for that June ENA, so you will be getting an update pretty quickly.
It's June 25th.
Well, I have two different dates for that ENA, and you just gave me a third. I have the 18th and 20th, and I don't know if there was a new date set.
Okay, I'll clarify on my end and message you what we think is happening.
Okay, great.
All right.
That late June ENA, that's the one we're aiming for.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
No problem. All right, Monty, will make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, absolutely. This time I'll go ahead and make a motion so we can adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Meeting has been adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your help, and we'll be in contact soon.
Thank you.